What is happening, Nerd Nation? Welcome to another episode, NineNerdYards. We are breaking down a series that does not include Pedro Pascal. You know, it's as you might be sad out there, but you know, we're switching it up a little bit, doing the usual Thursday thing and breaking down Lil Dicky's show. Dave, we're breaking down episodes 9, Allie's Toast, and 10. What's episode 10 called?
Jail.
That's right, just like the song. So let's introduce the panel and let's kick this off. You know him, you love him. He's in Austin, Texas. It's Raheem, aka Jeff. Jeff, what's happening, man?
Not too much. I'm so excited to break down these episodes. How you guys doing?
Doing great, man. It's been a long time since me and you originally broke down the first season together before Terry came on. So for anybody that wants to find those, you can find those on Unfiltered Bachelor podcast on your favorite podcast app to sort of see if there's any notes that we're going to miss, because we're combining sort of 2 episodes, and me and Jeff would do it for like an hour per episode. So there's probably going to be some things that we missed. 3 years ago, we broke it down. It's so crazy. And you know him, you love him. The reason that we are all here, the reason for the season, El Presidente, El Capitan. He is the Charlemagne to our white rice. It's 9, baby. What's going on?
What's up, nerds? Happy season finale.
Calling all nerds. Also, I want to shout out Nerd Nation for blowing up our TikTok. In a month, we have gone from 20 followers, 100 likes to 17,000 likes and 300 30 plus followers. It's been less than a month. It's been like 3 weeks. It's been incredible. And one of our videos went viral. It's at 124K.
About time.
So if you guys are supporting us on TikTok, we appreciate you. Keep liking, commenting, sharing with your friends. This all helps Nerd Nation go international. So we really appreciate you, fans and friends. Let's kick it off, man. Allie's Toast. This episode it does a lot of things. It is probably the most probably heartfelt,
emotionally charged
episode. Yeah.
Outside of Hype Man, probably.
Outside of Hype, but for different reasons, right? Where one
very different.
One is an emotional journey of a character like being vulnerable, and another one, this one, is an emotional journey, but in the relationship realm, which we haven't seen a deep dive in. We've seen a lot of on the surface of what Allie and Dave's relationship is like, and this one really deep dives into it. Raheem, give me your top 3 from this episode, man.
Oh, man, it's so hard. But number 1, the easiest one, is going to be the song.
The song.
Yes.
The as we called it the first time I was breaking it down, the Allie Molly song. You know?
That's what it is.
It's so the show's version of Molly, which is still one of my favorite Lil Dicky songs.
And just for context, just not to cut you off, to add
No, please.
For those people who don't know what he means when he says Molly, if you listen to Lil Dicky's album, Professional Rapper, there's a song on there called Molly, and it's a very emotionally heartfelt song to his ex about how choosing the rap career over choosing an investment in the relationship is ultimately what happened, and sort of his regrets and thoughts about what happened. It's a very heartfelt song, and it's got Brandon Urie from Panic at the Disco singing the chorus, and it's fucking beautiful. But if you listen to that song, and then it's a heartfelt song of heartbreak, but 2, it gives you context for what to like when you start Dave and you see that he's with somebody, Allie, Molly, like it's 5 letters, or hers, it's got the Lee and at the end, LLY, like it's a good reference. And you use that song, me and Jeff are using that song as a reference point to say this moment will happen, and we can predict it based off of his album. And so that song, Molly, when you get a chance, don't do it now, but go listen to the song, and then you will see, and it's in one of my notes. I'm going to break down some of the points that tie it all together. Raheem, what's point number 2?
Well, so real quick, before I go to point number 2, I'll say this, not just listening to Molly, but watching the music video. You really see it in that. And I mean, one of the best lines in that song, I forget what it is, but you always came second to rap. Is a line that every time I hear it, even if I'm listening to it in the background, it just punches me right in the heart, you know. But anyway,
Right.
so that
Right in the hard balls.
right in the heart.
Kidneys.
So that's number one. Number two is just it. So obviously in this song episode, we see Allie kind of noticing how Dave is putting her second and not really treating her too well. We see how Allie's family has been doing that her entire life, and how it seems to become a pattern of behavior. And Blake, you can speak to this way better than I can, but I mean, that's the sort of thing that when you are in that cycle of what, let's be honest, for Allie is abuse, it makes so much more sense that she would pick a partner like Dave after that, you know?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So,
it is clearly it's abandonment issues, right? Like it's neglect, it's abandonment, and it's this sort of relationship has been, you know, it's this anxious versus avoidant. Like Dave is a bit of an avoidant with his feelings. Allie is secure, but she's anxious, got some anxious tendencies, and it stems from childhood trauma. Like I talk about this all the time on my podcast. So you're right. Like I'm very familiar with this, and it makes sense why she chooses a partner that will still, like, it still hits on those core wounds of childhood and sticks it out, thinking that is what love is. And so it's rather incredible to see that the way that they wrote this is actually played out. It's actually really accurate to what people experience. So I love that you brought that up.
100%. Thank you for that. And the last, especially with how heavy my first two were, I'm going to go with when he runs over the rabbit, and she's like, "You got to run him over again." And he goes, "You want me to run over him twice? I'm not Suge Knight."
Bro, that scene's in my top three. And I love it.
It's so bad.
Oh, I think he's fucking dying.
Oh, we have to kill it.
Right? Oh, he's about to say it, but we can't play it. I get it. We got to play it.
Suffering. It's like slowly dying. We got to put him out of his misery.
You want me to kill it? Like, what do you want me to do? Stomp its head?
Yeah, we already played more than enough. But oh god, when he just goes, "I'm not Suge Knight," I laughed like for a solid 30 seconds. Like I had to rewind to see what I missed. It was so good.
That's so great. 9. Give me your top 3, baby.
You go first.
Okay. I got you. Actually, so the bunny scene was in my top 3, and that line, "You want me to run it over twice? I'm not Suge Knight." That was in my top 3. But I'll touch on another. I still got another one in the chamber. Dave eating a carrot.
Why does it look like a witch?
Bro, and he's like gagging, eating just some of the carrot, and like, "Can I spit it out?" Is what he says.
Which is ironic because he just deep throated it.
Right. This scene right here, utterly hilarious, and like, it's meant to. I mean, we already know he's a picky eater. We already know he doesn't eat, like, he's like me, he doesn't eat lettuce on his tacos. He's not into onions. He's just a very picky eater, and I feel this. But I eat carrots. I love carrots.
Like, you at least eat some fruits and vegetables.
Especially now, I'm Daniel fasting, so
right, you have to now.
All of my diet.
It's that or nothing.
Right.
Right, you've heard of vegetables.
Yeah. I can pronounce. I know what they are. I know what if I read it on a menu, I know what something is.
Yeah. Okay. A little more. Yeah.
On this note, another one I want to touch on is when he shakes the orange juice, and she's like, "You can't shake the pulp out of." He's like, "No, it doesn't work like that. It's not how." And everybody at the table's like, "No, that's not how that works." And then my last one is going to be the Molly Alley connections, and I want to read some of the lyrics from the song Molly. I told you I was going to tie it in together.
I love it.
Here is a perfect line. If you guys haven't heard the song, ever since I've been alone, I've been thinking back, listening to your auto tune and my microphone making us laugh.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the past was the past, but it never could last. Pretty sad when your love got a separate path. That line right there, because they absolutely showed that in this episode, right?
It's the opening.
It's the opening, yeah.
Thank you.
And it's I mean,
Sorry,
ties
opening
into
to the
song.
episode 9.
Oh, okay.
Right, yeah. It's second verse if you're pulling it up.
Okay.
And it's about 5 or 6 lines through. But it absolutely, like, again, if you listen to that song, you sort of know what's coming. But to see it played out is beautiful. But I love this line too. Really wish you was a boo I could prove wrong.
Yeah.
But she knows what I'm gonna do with the new songs, and she know I'm pretty soon with your dude on running the rap game with that lane. Always got to be up on that train. And with that strain, wishing I ain't got to get that fame or plain ain't nobody want to feel that pain. I read that out of order, but still, like, it's that choosing of his career over love in this case.
Mhm.
And it's beautifully personified in this episode. So I know a lot of people. Here's the thing: I know a lot of people are not Lil Dicky fans, or maybe we're not coming into the show. But he does have really great music. Like, you cannot judge a book by its cover. He has really great music, and this song is a beautiful tie-in to the show, and it sort of one complements the other. And without that, without that context, like, you can feel the emotions of, like, damn, it's a show. It makes me sad. But with that context added on, with that extra layer, it just does something else, and it takes it to a higher level.
And to add on to that, I just gotta say, if you have written Dickie off, which I did too before Blake made me sit down and listen to him. Listen to and watch the music video for Molly. It is so powerful and moving, and just such a all right, I'm a fan and I need to know more song.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's a serious song too. He's not just being jokey like he normally is, or campy. This is a very heartfelt song.
Oh yeah.
And also, one side thing I want to note is there's sort of predictors in this episode that sort of show distance. Mm-hmm. When before the hike, when they're eating breakfast, they're in matching colors, and on the hike, they're no longer in matching colors, which sort of, I think, signifies
because Dave changed.
Right, because Dave changed, and he's in, like, sort of like a peachy purple color again. So now he's in Lil Dicky mode.
Oh, that's a scene.
Yeah, but I didn't want to call it out because I wanted to save it for somebody. 9, give me your top 3 from this episode.
Okay. Let me think here. I think just Allie in general. She really gets a time to shine in this episode, all throughout the episode. And of course, what can we say?
I love you, Taylor.
The namesake. I love you first. The namesake. The namesake of this episode is the Allie's toast, and then when
what a beautiful scene.
Exactly. It's just it kind of hits because the show fools you that it's not going to be going into those deeper emotions, but by how funny it is. And you're like, oh no, they're actually trying to tell a pretty consistent narrative here. And so actually having Dave listen to Allie's toast mixed in with these shots of him riding home listening to Allie's song, I mean that's really so great. That turned out to be some really great television. Now of course the hike. The hike is just pretty ridiculous.
The infamous
part of the hike.
Yeah, the infamous scene from the hike.
Let's see if we can get a little.
So you have to hold it in.
And it's because of all the vegetables, right?
You make your inner tummy, you make them stay. Like,
you had one bite of carrot.
What?
Dave just can't hold his guts.
This is one of my notes. Just the poop.
It's the carrots. Jenny knows what's up.
It's
It's
the
the carrots.
You ate half a bite of a carrot? Don't
Which
eat
I-
carrots. They'll make you poop.
Yeah,
on a hike.
I know
So-
Blake and I talked about that the first time, but again, I've never seen poop on TV before.
Right. They show some poops. They show some poop.
Literally, one falls out when he pulls his pants down, and then they just show the hose going.
Yeah.
So that was actually, they tried to use a hose, and I think that they ended up using, it was visual effects to make that happen.
I read that actually they were planning on the visual effects, but for realism, to really make
Did they use the hose?
No, that they actually just had Dave poop. Anyway.
No, shut up. I know that they try to use a combination of both to try and get that effect, from what I remember.
They did.
hilarious.
They did try.
Um,
What's up, Kenya?
What's up, Kenya? 9, final one, man.
I it's hard to say this is a top moment, but this fight right here with them going at it, it just gets pretty emotionally charged and also just kind of mean, right?
Yeah.
This is when I was just like,
Oh my
I
God,
don't think I like Dave at all as like a character or person, like just becomes such a deeply flawed individual in the perspective, like, oh, we're watching like an anti-hero almost with the way this turns out. Let me see if I can.
Amiable superstar or whatever, but it's kind of turning you into a shitty boyfriend.
Okay, well, listen to how you're saying that, because you're a shitty girlfriend for using my own self-belief against me in an argument.
You have no idea what it's like to be dating a narcissist. It is so draining.
And like he's still in this like Kanye West type of attitude, right? And of course, like from the last episodes, seeing how much he wants to be like Kanye West and just kind of like being consumed alive by his the thought of his own celebrity. I don't know. It's pretty good. It's really good.
It's so layer building. It's so character building, and I'm glad that they included, and I'm glad that Lil Dicky decided to go this route, because it makes him a flawed human being and we're allowed to see it. And that adds character to when you have not just a shining knight, but a gray character of like, damn, man, like you are a little fucked up. And this begins the slippery slope that I think we see peel into the next season. And we'll get to that when we break down season 2 of like this sort of narcissism that peaks and it comes out more full circle around not just Allie, but the people around him.
100%. One of the, well, I should say 2 of the things that came out of that fight for me, the big one, and I probably mentioned this our last time, but with just, oh my God, how great was the acting in that scene? Now, Dave, I know has never done outside of music videos acting before this. Taylor Mishiak, I don't know her from anything outside of the Pillow Talking music video before Dave. And the 2 of them just threw so much emotion into that scene. It was so, like, no part of it was unbelievable at all. It was
a very believable fight.
I mean, they act fantastic the entire season, but this fight, just like the wow. They're not holding anything back, you know?
Right.
And then the other part of it is, I mean, maybe it's just that I'm a very gullible person, but throughout the entire series, you know, Dave kind of sucks, or at least he's kind of deluded. But until Allie says it, I never realized, like, oh yeah, he's a straight up narcissist.
Well, you know what else sucks? His dick sucks. That's what
his dick sucks. Yeah,
somebody suck me.
2 homosexual babies.
Right. I mean, that's his big claim to fame is my dick sucks.
Dave, they're buying 2 songs about how your dick sucks. I think they like you. I think they know your brand.
Right. Let's see here, but yeah, this is probably like one of the meanest things I've ever heard.
Apologizing for my ambition just because you don't have any.
Oh.
Ouch.
And
Ouchie, mama.
it's even more that scene's even more added on when you have the rest of the episode with her family being like, so what are you doing? And you're still teaching kindergarten kids, and like, sort of, when are you going to grow up? And
Dave's so ambitious. Why aren't you?
Right. Yeah. Maybe some of that can rub off on you, type thing. It's like, ouch.
Yeah.
But also too, like, them praising Dave, who we actually know, like, in their head, the whole thing's inverted. Dave has no job. He essentially lives rent-free because Mike pays for it, probably. And he is still trying to get that deal secured, get the bag secured. But in their eyes, Dave is the celebrity and Allie is still the one who's struggling, when really it's not the case. But, like, they can't get it past their head, this image that they have of her, that they then, like, sort of project. And then Dave uses that in this argument, which is a very ugly move. Well, but it's something that I think a lot of people do in the heat of arguments, which is, it's not a nice thing.
I mean, I think you need to remember, just the week before, Dave was in the studio with Justin Bieber.
Right.
Like, I love how he slides that in, which is, while that's accurate, it was he was walking past Justin in the studio, in Benny's studio.
Exactly.
Like, you're not wrong, but you're very much not right, Dave.
Yeah.
Not an accurate description. Like, let's get specific here.
Right.
And, like, can you even believe that, like, this is coming, like, this scene right here?
This scene is
right
afterwards. It says everything.
Yeah.
He's so deluded.
Like, this is just right after that fight, and it's pretty incredible that they he's a perfect narcissist, I swear to God.
Oh yeah. I mean, in his mind, all right, we're all good now, Like, he just tried being like, hey, so what are you doing now?
Right.
I was just trying to walk away there.
But they ain't. But they ain't. They ain't all good.
Well, and that's where speech highlights.
Right. And, speaking of the speech, I really enjoyed. There's just so much going on with this. Like, Allie coming into her own by the end of the episode too, right? Like, as this relationship goes down, her character stock goes up just by that toast that she gives is so heartfelt. You know what it reminded me of is the scene in Wedding Crashers when Rachel McAdams thinks she has something prepared, and then she speaks with Owen Wilson's character, and she sort of goes down that route and then goes a completely different route, more from the heart.
She was going to be a bit funny.
Right. Favorite color is green, like his eyes, or money.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah. And nobody laughs.
And everyone is just like crickets.
Yeah.
Like, all right,
but coming from the heart, right? Saying something from the heart, and saying something in the, like, that is more in the moment, and I think it just showed the character growth of, like, where we wanted Allie to be all along. And like, if there is ambition in her, like, that's what's shining through. It's like, hey, like, I'm able to do these things. I am able to do this thing. I'm able to conquer my fears of nervousness and being stuck, and able to take these steps. And it's beautiful to see it, that it came from, this falling apart of a relationship, for that to grow. But, like, it happened, and that's also a real thing that happens.
Yeah.
100%. And I also got to say, so I don't know about you guys. Have either of you ever had to give a speech at a wedding that you're like, oh, you really should be choosing anyone other than me to give this speech right now?
Right.
I've been in different situations like that, but yeah, I know the feeling that you mean.
Allie at least found a way to still tell all the truth while giving a good speech. Whereas when I was in that situation, I was just like, I'm going to recycle an old speech. So props to Allie, and I'm glad that no one that would know what I'm talking about, at least the people, the stars of the wedding that I'm referring to, do not listen to this podcast.
Good.
Hi, guys.
Not yet.
I mean, not until we go Nerd International.
Right.
Then they'll know. Then they'll know, guys.
One day they'll look back to this episode and they'll be like, damn it, Jeff.
The second we're big in Cyan, I'm fucked.
Everybody share this with your friends in Cyan. Let's do that.
Yeah. Trending.
But yeah, this episode is, again, it's just emotionally heartfelt, and it's mixed in with comedy well, and it's mixed in with Dave's silliness, but there's so many moving parts. It's the relationship, and it's Allie, and also in the background this looming record deal that we haven't even talked about yet, where Mike is trying to get him to be like, bro, now is the time we have to sign the dotted line. We have to make this move. There's no third direction at this point. It's real, or what's not. Like, if it's not real, then we have to do the whole game plan over again, go viral, come back, put stuff together, and then reapproach a record label. And we just lost all that time.
So I think this becomes a good question for you, Blake. I mean, Nine, maybe you would know this as well, but I certainly don't. 2 songs, his catalog, plus the future album. Is 200,000 seems like a very good deal for that. At least in my mind. Is it?
It's
for your first album?
I mean, there's rappers that, get 150, 200, like some get millions because they have like it all depends on the impact and the following and the marketability that the record label thinks that they can give you. And also too, depending on how they're doing this label deal, because label deals are so different now. It would depend on, is this an advance or is this the payout?
That's
that
what
you're
I'm
paying
thinking.
me?
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
But the fact that it's only just the one album, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty good deal, because usually they try to lock them in for a lot longer.
It's Dickie's first album. He's only got 2 songs that are out publicly before this.
Right.
To me, that seemed like a real great deal. You know?
So it's marketability. That the thing they're banking on is the viral ability, the following based on
somebody sucked me.
Right, based on the somebody sucked me, right? So I feel like that sounds very fair. And Mike agrees too. He's a numbers guy. He's a finance guy. He worked with all that. I think if you know numbers and you know value, you can make a fair determination of like that's enough. And getting it from 200 to 250, it helps Dave, but it also helps Mike, because Mike gets what, 20%.
So I mean 40,000, and he's leaving his job in the finance sector where he's making well more than 40,000.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of options for profitability outside of just that 200K. But anyway,
right.
My whole thing is Dave's like suspicion and like doubt of this deal seems very egotistical, maybe. Like, Dave, this seems like a good deal to everyone but you. But that's just anyway.
Dave's drip this episode is kind of insane, right? He's got like some pretty well-tailored suits for
the suit at the thing is very nice. Yeah,
he's got some
right.
He's got 2 of them,
right. The one for the rehearsal dinner.
Yeah,
and I love how at the wedding, when you showed the picture earlier, I mean, when they're taking the photos, it looks straight up shitty prom pics, and behind her with the smile.
Right.
So, what is with Dave and the turtlenecks, though?
I don't know if it's like a type of Steve Jobs type of aesthetic that he's trying to go for. I'm not sure. Let's see if I can. But he's got the shoes and everything. He's just swagging.
I mean, he always does that with his shoes, though. Yeah. So let me ask you guys a question. Do you think Dave left the wedding right after Allie's speech? Do you think he hung around for the reception? Or I guess, do you think he left the reception right after the speech? Do you think he hung around a little bit afterwards? Do you think he talked to her?
It's pretty ambiguous, just because.
But I like it that way.
Yes.
Yeah, I do like it that way. Because
I like to think he left during the reception, like afterwards, and because it adds more emotional weight, right? Like he's driving home. He left without her. Like your family will get her home, right? But like,
oh yeah,
it's heartfelt because returning to the Alley song, bro. Oh my God. Like, I remember watching this and tearing up a little bit.
This weekend you're gonna dance with me.
It's okay.
No, we don't have time to wait. Oh.
We're gonna have the best
Jesus.
time. And it's so evident too. Like if you knew the Molly song and you knew sort of the predictive thing, like if you knew before time, like what was going to happen, that they eventually were at the breakup. I remember watching that with this filter the first time and like hearing it. I'm like, this song is a romantic song, but like that would be crazy if they use this and the inverse of it, like because it sounds happy, but they use the inverse of it and it sounds sad by the end, and they did that, and it's beautiful. The meaning of the song, exactly. Factoids, Kenya, you got it.
The meaning of that song flipped by the end, for sure.
So the reason why I asked, do you think he left during the speech, is because the first time I watched it, in my mind, after her speech is done, he just goes, and in my mind, it almost felt like it was the first. Well, it's very easy to not see it this way. It almost felt like the first unselfish thing Dave did in their relationship by leaving instead of by leaving the wedding and not causing the fight between him and Allie, instead of like, hey, we need to do the breakup now while we're at your sister's wedding,
Right.
And it's
Facts. And on that note, like I was watching it again and watching as much stuff as we break down and looking at it from a cinematography aspect, he's standing in the back. Like he doesn't even go to sit. Mm-hmm. And it's very much that notion. Like it shows without saying anything. Like he's here, he's present, but he's not a part of what's going on.
Yes, 100%. He's an outside observer.
Mm-hmm.
He's present, but I mean, oh wow! Just realizing this, it's literally just this. It's a metaphor for Dave and their relationship. He's present without being present.
Right. He's there, but he's not a part of it.
Exactly. Which, oh man,
what's that?
Just the symbolism in this show is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean. It's been 3 years, and I'm still catching new things with every watch through.
It's great. It's a great show. Don't sleep on it. Also, one last thing before we wrap this up. The Allie's family, her sister particularly, like such like a. I don't like him. Like yeah,
I like him. Whatever.
Outside of Allie's dad, no, I don't like him.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, her sister is so like, it almost seems like pompous is the word I'm looking for, but something to that effect. Like when she's like, Allie tries to give her a compliment and she's like, oh no, that's just my lotion's non-scented. That's just my natural smell.
It's just how I smell.
Yeah. And I was like, oh,
just take the compliment,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then even like offering
to,
yeah, that was a scene. It's great.
Not to make this little romper. That's why you smell so nice. No, this is unscented. It's just my natural smell.
Like literally, my shit does not stink.
Right, and like not to bring this to the physical realm, but like Allie's so much more beautiful than her.
Ouch.
I'm sorry. I'm in love with Taylor Mishiak more than end of sentence period.
Put that on a bumper sticker, why don't you? And then also,
I think by this episode you have to be like simping after Allie's character.
100%. Taylor, call me. Taylor, down Cheadle's driveway.
Get at me, girl.
We could Skype.
And also the fact of her sister sort of backhanding, complimenting her, like almost saying like she's broke or she's poor or she can't afford to.
Yeah, you don't make enough.
You don't have to put in for you already bought the thing. Like you're good, like don't worry about it.
She flat out says, I mean, it was kind of expensive.
Right.
Like, wow.
Yeah. The backhandedness.
And their mother goes in for it too. Oh, you're just a teacher? They're lawyers. Do you maybe want to follow your dream? Is it maybe time? And it's like, I'm actually like, teaching the youth of tomorrow. I'm actually very happy with my job. And I think
Right.
like after she says that, her sister even goes like, I mean, I'm happy with my job too. I just make money. Like, it was like, God damn.
Real pompous and in your face.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's wrap this up. What do we got on IMDb score for this episode?
8.9, the third highest of the season.
Wow.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Makes
guess
no
the
good.
top three are this one, Hype Man, and the last episode.
You would be correct, sir.
Yes,
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
Yep.
I gotta keep it a buck, Chuck. All right, is there any scenes you want to show, Nine, before we move on to jail?
Oh, I just had one pulled up and then I switched it. Hold on, let me see if I can really quick grab it.
While Nine's
Okay.
pulling that up, the only point that I did not hit in this one so far, when Dave's like, "Hey, you're a couple of lawyers. Let me ask you, what's the point of multiple life sentences?" And she just goes, Allie says, just goes, "It's a bit it's pretty complicated, Dave." And Dave just goes, "More complicated than reincarnation?"
Incarnation, yeah.
That just made me laugh real hard.
Reincarnation.
It is a really great point, though, and Dave does that a lot. Like brings up things that are you
And
wouldn't
they're always
seem to think
throwaways.
about. Yeah, this scene right here.
Just screaming.
I just love the way he just like kind of just he said that so creepily, but the screaming.
I wouldn't say creepy. I would say so innocently.
Right,
Yeah.
like so subtly, you know.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh,
Like reverted back to a childlike.
Love
thing
it.
there.
Well, let's hop on to some happier notes.
Oh my God. And then later in the episode, the veggie he's eating is a carrot.
Oh, the irony.
Oh,
Well, the irony
They
of
planned that.
A bunny, the carrot, and then the
Mm.
sister saying, right? Wouldn't the part of the speech was she turned into a bunny?
she just disappeared.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It just disappeared. Okay.
Mm.
I was thinking magician and bunny. I'm sure there's a tie in there. I don't know. We need Filmate Studio to tie in all these,
Yeah.
things reaching.
Film Age is yeah, he's in the basement.
Film Age
right
is
now.
lacking right now.
No, he's actually sick, and we miss him. Hope he gets better
We miss
soon.
him. Get well soon,
Yeah.
Film Age.
Feel better.
But let's move on to the next episode. I need to do that here while I'm watching this. The next episode, jail. And I remember watching the preview for this, and we were like, "Bro, Dave goes to jail. What does he go to jail for?" And it was because it was so confusing. Because if you watch the preview, it's just like him in jail, like, and it's all that scene, and we're like, "What the fuck happened? Like, what's going on?" And it starts off that way for the first 9 minutes of this episode is a music video to this song that he is playing, which you don't realize is a song. You think he's just like rapping out what's actually going on until you realize it's a song, and you're like, oh my God, what the fuck is happening? Like, this is crazy. And it's one of those long songs which vaguely reminded me of Pillow Talk, because Pillow Talk is a 10 or 11 minute song.
Yeah.
And it very much reminded me of that feel. Like, I think he does like to draw allusions from like real life into what he puts on the show. And it just kicks off in the wildest way. Let's start off the top three before I get too far in the weeds with this. Jeff, you went first. 9. Give me your top 3 from this episode, man.
God, the song itself. I can almost give you a top 3 from the song itself in the opening.
Ay
scene
caramba.
there. I was just trying to pull up just a little. Ay caramba. Raheem.
Did you know all along?
Did you know all along?
Let me see here. Sorry.
What are you looking for specifically?
I was just checking something really quick. Okay, so Raheem's character, played by Melvin Gregg, he was in the new House Party.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just trying to look to see where else he's at. Okay, let's see here. When Raheem is telling him about how to like just get by in jail, and Dave just kind of like stops, and he's just like, where you from, Raheem? Hold on. Let me see if I can get it. Let me see if I can get it.
I mean, I guess I'll go blacks, right? Blacks.
God damn it. But then he also goes.
I think it's closer to the sucking dick part.
Yeah.
Okay. I just don't know much about this. Like at home, I would hang out with blacks. Oh, we're blacks then. Well, how do they know I'm with blacks? Like,
Do I just say I'm with
So
blacks?
I mean, just this whole exchange here is just pretty hilarious. But
I feel like it'd be weird if I said I'm with blacks.
yeah.
Right.
Okay, hold on. And then another dramatic little moment here. Let's see here. It's with Dave acting like an asshole. I'm just like, wow, he's really a
Oh.
big asshole. And I think this is outside of like the Howard Hughes Center in California.
Oh,
So
wow.
you may notice this like location in like a bunch of different
The-
sci-fi shows. I'm pretty sure it was in Westworld. It's the
Yep.
Let's see here.
The background of the building behind
Yeah.
Dave is very iconic.
Yeah, that's right
That.
here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
Did you know all along?
Did you know?
$1,000 and a machine that's going to help you live out your dreams.
my dreams? You think my dreams are running everything up the flagpole whenever I want to put a song out? No, I can't.
And I'm just like, Dave, shut the fuck up. Just get paid, do your work. And why are you fighting? Because in this point in the episode, it's just that Dave is pitching this ridiculous song called Jail. And is it called Jail?
Yes, it is.
The song's
Yeah, it's
called
called
Jail.
Jail. And it's just not going to go well with the people that are running the label for him. But he's just being an absolute dick to Andrew here, to Mike. So
Mike.
Yeah.
and let me see if I can get another one here. I don't want to take this one.
Do it. Do it. It's your 3.
I mean, the song at the end.
That's the glory of being number one, man.
Right. You get to do that. You get to pick the good moments.
So not even like just the song at the end, the literal last little bit of the song at the end,
Mhm.
where we get that.
Me up on the street, say hi, LD, and I'll stop you and say, "Whoa, my name is."
What's your name?
What's your name?
That's the hardest way to.
Bro,
That's the
the way it
hardest way
ended.
to end a
The way it
season,
ended.
Dude.
like ever. Like,
Wait,
that
who
is
else
the
else?
hardest way. Hmm?
Wait, who the hell's else?
Who the hell's else? Yeah. So there's like jam packed because we get like 2 songs in this one, and then like nice little moments in each of those. But yeah, I think this was a hell of a season finale.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
The way, that ending right there. It's chef's kiss. Jeff, give me your top 3.
All right. Number one's going to be a weird one. FX shows a ball sack. When Dave is on stage, they actually show, like, it's very quick. It's less than a second, but you see the
I'm
balls
not gonna-
outside of the pants. I wouldn't show that. YouTube's
I'm
not
not
good.
gonna do it.
YouTube's not as cool as FX
Yeah,
is
don't
on
search
that
for it.
one.
Don't search for it. Don't do
No,
that.
no,
I'm
no.
gonna just
But a part of that being just the entire dance and all of that, like Dave like humping the mic stands or the light stands and then hugging the speaker, and just Gata's just like, what the fuck are you doing? Right? It's it's just how the entire time Gata's like, what is wrong with you, man?
Elle's in the background, also mystified.
Right?
Hilarious.
So that one, I'll say. When Dave and Emma are going over the designs, and it's like, all right, here's a dick, here's a dick, here's an old dick, here's a wrinkly dick, here's a dick, here's a dick. Then she's like, oh wow, that really wrinkly, right? And she just goes like, yeah, okay, yeah, like, so I got bored, so here's just like a couple of not dick ones I did, and like the surprise on Emma's face when Dave chooses a not dick picture.
Right.
Like, which it's hilarious, but it also goes to show, like, oh, Dave's starting to break out of that narcissism a very, very small amount. But like, just like the him being like, oh wow, actually what you made, that was the right one to go through. And you could just see the surprise on her face, you know?
And it's also funny too, because that is his actual logo that he uses.
Yeah,
in real life.
100%.
So
both of them, right?
Right. He brought it into the show, and I really like that.
Yeah. And then the last one I would say is there's so many good ones. All right, I'm gonna go with right before they go into the Breakfast Club, and Gator just looks at him and goes, "So you're gonna go with Jail? You're gonna go with that song?" And Dave's like, "Yeah, of course. It's like it's my thing. It's my blah blah blah, and this and that." And Gator just goes, "Dude, you don't know how many guys I know that would kill for a record deal, LD."
This scene right here, yeah.
This scene. And Dave's like, "Wow, even you're against me?" And Gator's like, "No, man, I'm your ride or die. I still got your back no matter what." And like how Gator gives him some very solid advice, but it's not what Dave wants to hear. And I think it might be one of the first time Dave's realizes, like, hey, maybe someone having my back isn't always someone just flat out agreeing with me.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
Come on. I love Gator.
I love Gator. Gator keeps it so real. All right. Let me throw out my top three real quick. And some of these are going to be good. I did have the quotable. This isn't my top three anymore because we threw the quotable out there. But when he says Els made the beat, he's like, "Who the hell is Els?" It's such a throwaway line, but it's funny. All right,
good.
This line right here always has me cracking up when Dave plays the song, and the record execs stop him, and one of the guys says, "I'm actually a little concerned that we might be in some sort of trouble even playing it aloud here." Bro,
because this is a third of the episode, right? The whole song.
It's the first.
And I'm like, are they going to do this whole episode in like the first time watching
song form?
Yeah, in song form. Is this like a musical, semi-musical type of thing?
I remember watching it for the first time. I'm like, dude, we don't have long left. What are we doing with this? What is happening?
I flat out thought it was just his next music video.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's what we're doing. Okay. Also, in this one and the last one, so much is said, but in this one too, so much is said non-verbally in this episode with Dave's expressions. Like if you look at it, it's not all about what's said that he says to characters. Emma, he interacts with essentially everybody else, Emma, Mike, and even Allie through the phone. But like the acting is non-verbal a lot of these times, even Gator. Like if you look at the non-verbal cues, his face cues, his body language is like, he's just sort of like thinking, and you can tell so much, and he doesn't say more than necessary. They don't overword it. And I think there's a lot of beauty in that. I have a theory time for this. And this was on set by when he went to the Breakfast Club. And I was noticing around, like on the Breakfast Club, they have a little heart pillow, and in the room that there's some red and white stuff. And I was like, they don't ever say it, but I was like, is it like Valentine's season? And that really took this up a notch in my head, because I was like, what if it is Valentine's season? And Dave is having to go through a breakup and having to go through promotion for this new song that he wants to do, and for himself, and like having to be like, I can't worry about anything like that. I have to put on the character mode. I have to go all in, and let the cards play how they play. But like, I can't let any of that stuff bother me right now. I thought it's a phenomenal way. Like it's not, again, I think Atlanta does this too. It's not in your face, but there's subtle clues to let you know certain things. Like for instance, like when it's Paperboy, he's going through the woods, and we're indicated that it's his mom's anniversary of death. Or even when he's with Lorraine, like we were sort of like trying to pin a time on it as to when it could be, yada yada. So it adds that layer to it, to the story, without saying anything. But when you think about it and look at stuff, it sort of, you're like, damn, like imagine that is the case.
Well, even just look at Dave's outfit when he's in the meeting. It's pink and red. It's, I mean, like, I know Dave's not like, oh, I'm going to do a Valentine's outfit, but like, I mean, that would still lead the viewer to be kind of like subtly on that mindset, you know?
Right. Using that color choice. But yeah, I mean, that's essentially what this episode's about. Him trying to get
lover boy.
This song that he thinks is a hit. Benny Blanco seems to think is a hit, and he wants to release it. And the plan is to release it on the Breakfast Club. And I really, again, I'm going to stress this fact. I know a lot of people don't like Dave. I know a lot of people don't like Lil Dicky, the show, Lil Dicky, whatever. But I thought it was rather an awesome plot device to use Charlemagne, who we all know, like if you've ever watched Charlemagne's interviews, he's not really made.
He's going to get at you. Yeah.
White rappers are not his favorite.
He does not like Dave. Let's just say that.
I mean, I remember when Lil Dicky was in there, if you rewatch that, like there's a little sort of, there's this bias that Charlemagne has against all white rappers. Like when Logic was on, Lil Dicky was on, I don't even know which other white rappers would be on there, but probably Jack
Vanilla
Harlow,
Ice.
probably. I'm sure. But he has this distaste for white rappers because he feels like it's cultural appropriation, I think, in a certain sense. And like, yeah, I think that there's truth to that, but are you doing right by it? Are you doing it justice? And I really like that they used Charlemagne instead of Sway, because I was like, why don't they just do Sway? Like Sway would be more friendly. But I mean, obviously Charlemagne is friendly to Lil Dicky now because they shot the show here. But using him as a plot device to be the voice of people and critics of Lil Dicky and Dave is an excellent choice, because people who are haters or people who dislike or people who are not quite fans or fans of one aspect but not the whole, Charlemagne is their voice. He is the voice of a lot of those type of people, and it's very meta. And I really like that because Dave wins him over not with his personality. Dave wins him over, and he wins people over with his skill and his talent.
Right. Yeah.
Which is the only thing he really has to combat, you know, like what Charlemagne flat out goes, so are you a culture vulture? Which, by the way, is not an inappropriate question to ask a guy walking in just going like, oh, I've got 2 songs about having a little dick, but don't even call me my rap name, just call me Dave. Like, Charlemagne has every reason to be like, so what's going on? Why the fuck are you even here? You know?
Right. Yeah. Radical candor, as you can you might be able to say.
And you got a black hype man, you know what I mean? Like, what on earth is going on?
Right.
Which,
let's see if I can play.
I mean, props to Gata at that moment too, right?
I worry about just about everything, Charlemagne. Like, I wake up and I start worrying.
Who's your guy over there with the dreads? That's your shooter? That's your weed man? That's your goon? What
I love that. Gated just like, yep.
Well,
aye, Captain.
I love Dave. His response after that, just like, you're being very stereotypical, Charlemagne. Which, like, oh man, you're calling Charlemagne out after that?
I mean, that's my friend Gata.
So you just walk around with a token black guy to make yourself?
No.
Gata, come over here, my brother.
It's just like, ooh, this is going to be scathing. Right?
But then when Gata backs Dave up, it's not even like, oh no, we're actually really good friends. We're actually like really cool outside this. Gata's just like, no. He's fucking good. It's not like, oh, we're good friends. It's not like, oh, he treats me great. No, Gata just talks to his skill as a rapper, which, by the way, is the only reason why Dave should be on the Breakfast Club.
Right.
So I like that they did that, you know?
That's good shit.
One day, bro. Might not be today, but you're going to see.
What made you pick a black man as your hype man? It's not a complicated question.
It's not a complicated question. Just grilling his ass, dude. Swear to God. And I wish we could actually listen to all of this in its entirety, though, because
Such a great
goes
freestyle.
hard. It
Would
goes
we
pretty
be able
hard.
to listen to the real one? Because that's on YouTube.
Yeah, we can do the one in Sway in the Morning.
Well, there's two of them
and-
from Sway, so it depends which one
Yeah.
you're going to play.
But
I think the one that like dropped right before the season.
This
dropped,
one was the better of the two.
that
Yeah,
one is like completely incredible. Let's see if I can at least pull it up a little bit. Here.
But I mean, while you're doing that, I mean, let's just face it. This freestyle Dave kicks out is fucking good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I mean, and again, Blake, thank you for always turning me on to it. But I mean, like the freestyles you show me when he goes on Sway and stuff. And yeah, I know he's prepared them a bit, but still, it's always a good fucking rap, and it's a fun rap, and it's just it's Dickie.
Lettuce rap.
It's
It's light on the heart. I love it.
yeah.
Let's see here.
Yeah. I'll say this: if you've ever seen Dave freestyle or Lil Dicky freestyle on the Sway show, the first one he did was a mixture of two songs. One was called "Bruh," and the other one, God, I can't think of it. But he essentially took two of the verses and passed it off as a freestyle on Sway. They're incredible lines. They're incredible. It in its entirety is incredible, but compared to the second time he goes on Sway and has just like bars, and you've never heard these ones before.
Is that the one with the
He didn't
cactus?
Yeah. He brought a plant or something like that, which is great. Let me see if I can name the two songs. Let's see, Lil Dicky. There it is. It is from. Both songs are on Professional Rapper too.
Yeah.
So one for sure is called "Bruh," and the other one is called "Who Knew," and "Bruh." And so yeah, like you listen to those songs. I remember somebody was like, "Oh, part of that from Bruh," and I'm like, "Bro, what's that?" And he's like, "Listen," and he showed me, and I was just like, "Oh no!" Like it was sort of disappointing. But then seeing Dave seeing Lil Dicky before Dave came out and go on Sway, that freestyle is just incredible.
100%.
Yeah, this is the one where I think I was just like, oh, okay. Lil Dicky actually got that fucking juice. 32 million views. I think a lot of people just enjoyed it.
And I'm only like 2,000 or 3,000 of those.
Like, look at how difficult is it? The man isn't human. I mean, yeah, and when we get into this, it's pretty crazy. Let's see here.
None of that matters when you come to Sway in the morning. You must have bars.
Bars.
To the Valley of the Hyenas. Shade for live. Lil Dicky. Still turn the rock. Wonder. Drop a beat on him.
Is that Kel?
Yeah.
Sway. Turn that beat up. Your headphones. Get their headphones. Okay. Turn it up. Turn it up, OQ. All right.
I don't think we'll
get serious.
I think we can listen to this.
Lil old dick and I'm back in this bitch. I know y'all know when I rap what it is. All facts don't fib. Got a gang full of hits. In touch with the kids like a pedo. I'm a jam like Shaq. I'm a bang when I wish. Up in this bitch like a fetus. Ain't no timelines when you timeless. Hold up. MJ 96 meaning I'm back on my bullshit. You know I come hard like a full dick. Suburban and white. Stay with the relics and cool with spread, cool with flow. I can make them right with an IG live. And my girl got bombs on a by jihad. And between her legs is looking right, hypotenuse. Bring it up. Let me bring it all down. Been out here, citizenship. Look at how I got everybody tuned in right now. They would probably watch this for an hour. Tracy, I brought you flowers.
I brought you flowers.
Gas out the answer. I was slept on like mattresses. I got my head right, aspirin. I'm cashing in. I'm not about to hold a paper and display it like a thumbtack. No touchback. They about to run his back. And if you ever met me, you root for me. Sharp shit coming. I'm a dome. I'm a unicorn. Part of my breath. Only Perky said I fuck with his breast. Elevator kissing hoes at the Ritz. Freaky Friday, I get in. I'm like Chris. Wait. Pass me the rock. Get it. Post. Jab. Up fake. Pump, jumping in them, 2 shots at the line. I got it. Yo, I might cut on a dime, glow in the dark. See me anytime. Used to put the Xbox controller on my dick and let it vibrate. How I jerked off as a child. Me, fuck, and the shit work. Hey, her brother looking at me like, hey, fuck, bro. Sway, her brother looking at me like, hey, fuck, bro. I'm like Kareem Abdul.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Got me scoring, see me coming
from afar.
I never need an advance. I'm switching it up like I'm trans. Oh, don't reproach it, man. I'm eating the pussy like cervical cancer. But shit, if my GPS died, I sleep in my sedan.
And I mean,
so
it
good.
is
Bars
a
after
complete
bars.
bar after bar after bar.
And you know, it's the song the song where the music video is the cartoon. Is that Professional Rapper the name of the song?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right.
It's the name of the
I
album
thought so.
and the song.
I thought so. Yeah. But one of the things in that song, which is so true, is Dickie can so switch his tempo and speed up and slow down, and like it's really impressive whenever he does it. And I mean, like he gets
masterful.
yeah, you know, not everyone can hit those tempos that he can, let alone switch them up in the middle of a song.
The cadence switching is that's a talent in and of
live
itself.
and freestyle, and like
Right.
I think this goes for at least a good 4.5 minutes.
Oh yeah, I mean,
And
I can
he's-
only do that sort of thing like 2 out of 5 songs, but other than that, it's very rough for me, guys.
We'll let you hold off, Jeff. No worries.
Thank you. I don't want to make it. Wait, is it cultural appropriation? I don't know.
Not a tough question, sir.
By the way, I just noticed that one of Gata's necklaces while he was at the Breakfast Club just says "Mom."
You're repping hard.
I love Gata so much.
Oh man.
Oh God, how about that part where Dave's just like, where he's like, why is he your hype man? Why did you choose him? And he's like, I don't know. He's the best. He's so good. He does this. He does that. He's great at dancing. It's like, oh, he can dance. And it's like, ooh. Starting to get a little awkward, Dave.
Step back, Dave. Think about the shit. Internet is a permanent place. This is gonna live forever. Read, analyze, think about everything. I'm such an idiot. I used to cover R. Kelly songs at my shows without even knowing it was problematic. Act more Jewishly. Come on, Sway. Take my eulogy.
Good shit. It's just really good stuff.
I mean, he can make fun of himself too, which is very fun and refreshing.
Right. And so again, it adds to, why do we play this? Because it adds to the episode and it adds to the realism, you know, of what Lil Dicky is basing his experience in writing this character Dave on.
Right.
He really does this. He really goes on. He really goes and kills it. And so the season begins in him in the first episode doing a freestyle. It was so appropriate that it ended. Yeah. Why, G?
Is that
Korean?
Is that Korean?
Yeah, Korean rapper.
Why,
yeah. Is that YG? But it also, the season begins with him freestyling. The season ends with him freestyling. The season begins with the talent. The season ends with the talent. And just on such a bigger stage now, too. 8 million people. And in the words of Charlamagne, 8 million people are going to think you suck.
I look at it as 8 million new fans. I
like when Dave goes in for a hug too. He's like, "Oh, I'm a hugger," and he's like, I'm good." He's like, "I mean, I hug, but I don't know you."
I don't know you. Yeah, right. Or how about one of the best lines from this entire episode? I've been waiting so long for that kiss. You don't even know.
That was a very touching moment going back to the episode talent shows, right? When he's trying to tuck Gata in. What a great callback.
Well, and Gata even calls that back in the episode. Like, oh, they put me up in their guest room. Like, they took care of me. I met his mom. They fed me. And it's like, yeah, you know, it's a very touching moment.
Yeah, it's so great. But yeah, I mean, that's what this episode is all about, and what a way
relationship
to
goals.
end the season.
I love you.
Did you, I heard. I think Charlamagne asked, "Did y'all meet on Tinder?" I thought that was one of the questions.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, there's just so many funny throwaway lines, and it was a great way.
Real talk, bro. You my brother for life, bro. I love you.
Y'all just need to be a couple. Where'd y'all meet?
Look at this guy, always being funny, man. I can't.
Face lit up, man. I love it. But yeah, what a way to end this first season. And I think of this is a show that drew a lot of criticism. It came in the wake of it's tough. It's tough to compare it, but it's tough not to compare it to the only closest thing that you have on FX, which was Atlanta at the time. This came in the wake of between the second and then third and fourth seasons coming out. And for the show to end the way that it did, I think again there was a lot of criticism, and when it came out, people were just like, "Oh, damn, this is a good." Critics everywhere were like, "This is a good show."
Yeah.
And then shortly, I think even 6 days after this came out, they got picked up for the second season.
Yep.
So this was a hell of a way to end this season. I really, really enjoyed it.
And another thing to remember about the show and when it came out, this was, I mean, we started watching it, Blake and I, because like, oh, no one's allowed to go out. Like it's COVID, it's lockdown.
Right.
So this was one of the first shows that like, all right, everyone, no one's going anywhere. So like we all have an opportunity to actually sit down and watch it together. And like, it's, I mean, come on. How long has it been since it's been like, oh, I mean, like that's like Friends shit, you know. That's like watching Ross and Rachel break up across the country, you know.
That was
it's
crazy time.
It's when people, you know, everybody would gather around and watch, you know, Game of Thrones or whatever. Like it was on that level because people were inside. And I remember friends talking about the show that I didn't even think knew Lil Dicky or were familiar with him, and being like, seeing that we and you were dropping breakdowns and being like, oh, they would just send me random like, you know, Facebook mention, oh man, bro, like this scene was funny and I laughed at this, and or they would listen to the show too, because it was what people did. Like people just like tuned in.
My brother told me to watch it for quite a while, and I was just like, okay, I'll check it out. And I was like, okay,
probably should have listened to your brother.
Yeah, I'm all in. But
it's okay. We won't tell him he was right.
The whole thing, you know, I got the whole binge the whole thing at once.
You got to binge the whole thing. It's great. What is okay? Let's talk IMDb. What do we got on the score for this? It's a 9.3. I'm guessing 9.4.
9. You want to guess too?
Yeah, I don't know actually. If
don't look it up.
Top 3, then it's got to be somewhere like 8.2.
No, because the last one was an 8.9, right?
Yes, last one was an 8.9.
Okay. Go ahead with it, Jeff.
9.5, highest rated episode of the season.
Oh, this is in the highest rating. Okay.
No. Right. This is the highest
rating. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Yeah.
You're okay. I'll forgive you.
I used the wrong reasoning to come to that conclusion, but no. This one is just phenomenal. It's definitely well deserved.
And the only trivia is the first 10 minutes of this episode, in which Dave recounts a tale of incarceration for publicly displaying his penis, are performed as rap. And I will say that is a lie. He publicly showed his scrotum.
Yes.
Yeah.
Show your balls.
And then bit off a man's penis.
I mean, that was a result of the showing of the scrotum.
Bro, that whole scene in jail too, where he's playing the basketball and he's like, I'm with the blacks, and they beat him up. That was hilarious.
He goes, the best is during it, he goes, it was even worse.
Yeah.
I got some Longest Yards vibes from that, by the way.
I did too.
Punched in my back, thrown off the court. I'm like, I'm with the blacks. That made it worse.
That made it worse.
I'm with the blacks.
Should have just let Raheem tell him, man.
All right. Oh, Raheem, man. But yeah, this is such a great, there's so many laughable moments. And again, if you want a longer breakdown where we probably ran into every single joke and every single thing, obviously go back to Unfiltered Bachelor, and hopefully we can grab some of those episodes if I can find them and put them up here on 9NerdYards if you guys want to check that out as well, as sort of archive footage. I think that would be great. But yeah, let's sort of round it out. Any other bits? We start with you, Raheem. Any other bits that we need to close out from this episode?
The only one I'll point out, So at the end, when Dave is on, when Little D is on Breakfast Club and he's just shooting off that freestyle, we obviously see the label exec like, wow, damn, he's doing so good. But what I love so much, and we see Gaeta just rocking out. But what I love so much is when we get glimpses of Mike, just kind of like remembering why he quit his job and he has hooked himself to Dave.
Yeah.
Right. Like I said,
he just looks so impressed.
It goes back to my point, right? Of one of the ones, it's the nonverbal acting in this episode is so prevalent. It's everywhere because
Absolutely.
while Dave is rapping, all these things are happening with characters. Angela Yee is sort of feeling it. Charlemagne, you see him sort of being like this, be cross-armed and then kind of going with it. And by the end of it, he's just like,
especially at the give me all of that smoke part.
Right. He's like,
Charlemagne's in it at that moment, man.
Yeah, he's sold. Everybody is buying in as this freestyle progresses. Gate is getting more hype. Mike's there. The record exec is getting happier and happier every minute that this is going on. The nonverbalness of the acting all around is it's so telling and it's so great.
And you know what? I'll throw on top of that one thing that I forgot that I don't know if I caught originally. Mike actually mentions when Mike's like, I quit my job. And Dave's like, why didn't you tell me? And Mike goes, because after that fucking meeting, I tried getting it back.
Right.
So then when they're there at Breakfast Club and he sees Charlemagne and all that, seeing Mike recommit, and not just recommit, but like commit further, was such it's a really strong moment that's very, very easy to miss.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Nine. Any last minute notes about this episode before we wrap this up?
I do like how they brought back the song,
the Alley song.
Yeah, right when they get the text from her, he's just or he tries to text her.
Oh, he does. She just likes his message.
How brave of him to finish it with "I miss you,"
bro.
Simple. And out of character for Dave.
Is it though?
He's down bad.
Yeah, I think it's a show of vulnerability of being like, damn, like I fucked up that one.
I mean, he's so neurotic that I do think it was atypical for him to do so.
Yeah, facts. Also, shout out bro, just bringing the song again back, the callback. Also, shout out to Hulu. The show came out on Hulu and they throwing it in. I like it. Nice little ad right there.
Also, shout out to everyone who wants to hack our StreamYard. They just showed our new password, Fist of Rage 88. Random, I know.
Please do not hack us, hackers. Do not do that. Please don't hackers. Yeah, for me, this episode it started off very like, it grabs your attention. You're like, what am I like? I remember pausing this so many times. I'm like, when is this going to be over? Because I want to watch more of this story. But it still grabs you in and it's still entertaining, goes down this real life direction. And I like all the tie-in. You see basically some sort of form of every single character. He has interaction with Emma. He has interaction with Els. He has interaction who is off going to go to Trippie Redd, right? He has interaction with Mike. He has interaction with Benny Blanc. Like all the sort of supporting cast and even Allie indirectly. He has all these interactions. And so they're tying up all these loose ends. And then for the show to end, essentially the way that the show began, it just completely like ties it in a nice, pretty bow. So I'm just a big fan of this episode. And it leaves you wanting more, just essentially. Like, so there was so much hype going into the second season. I know everybody who watched this was just like, this is a great starting point to be like, I want more of this. So yeah, that's my notes. Well, yeah, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Kenya, so much appreciate you so much for the comments. And if everybody's watching this, if you're watching this on the replay, drop your favorite moment from this episode, drop it in the comments. We want to hear from you.
Or from season 1, yeah.
Or from season 1, yeah. Drop it in the comments. Let's hear from you. Well, let's go ahead and round this out. Radio Raheem, where can people find you? They want to reach out to you for all things Nerd Nation related.
I think the best way is to try and Skype me at Don Cheadle's driveway at littleDicky2.com. Obviously, it's because of the hackers.
For the hackers, man.
For the hackers. No, but for real, you can try Facebook, Jeff Madel, MADL, Instagram. Turns out I have one. Who knew? At Madel Jeff. Or, hey, especially we got South by coming up. Well, not coming up. It turns out it's here. Who knew? Find me around Austin, you know. I'm always happy to talk and hang out and let you buy me a free drink.
Just throw that in there. Just throw that in there. Why don't you?
Ooh, or if you want to go see Scream 6 at Slaughter Lane on Saturday at
3:50.
At 3:50. Come on, let's get this going.
I think you're like inviting a ghost face into your life right now. Like,
let's be honest, that would be the best death I could ask for.
Yeah,
it would be the opening of Scream 2. Be the opening of Scream 2. It would be great.
Yeah.
Oh, my raps.
Nine, where can people find you? They want to reach out to you for all things happening in the wonderful Nerd Nation world.
Right here, my man. And I got a new video just dropped a couple hours ago, and it's just going over the Oscar nominations, Best Pictures. Watch every single one of those and gave my opinions on that. So if you want to check it out, go and do that. Also hit me up on Twitter, Instagram. The Tickety Talks are blowing up, of course. And the Patreon is just $1. So if you want some exclusive content and
go do it,
get some more, give me some more feedback. I would love it.
Right. Calling all Nerd Nation. Let's see you on Patreon. It's just $1, Chuck. Yeah, that's all it is. Everybody, go ahead and follow me, Money Blakeweather, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, or on TikTok. You can follow my podcast, Unfiltered Bachelor, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or on your favorite podcast platform, iHeartRadio, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are. That's where the show is. Again, I want to thank everybody who's been blowing up our TikTok. We don't do that without fans. We don't do that without support. You're liking these videos. You're watching us every week. We've been coming at you with a lot of episodes. Next week will be the last time we do 3 episodes in a week for a while. So go ahead and catch us Monday, Wednesday, or Thursday, where we're coming back with Dave. On Wednesday, we're doing Mandalorian. On Monday, we're doing the season finale of Last of Us. So, yeah, go ahead and stay tuned for that. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And we're watching this on the replay, morning, evening, afternoon. I do appreciate you. And until the next time, we will see you. Peace.